Let me tell you a story about a car, a girl named Nicole, and a very expensive lesson in geometry and liability. See, I'm an insurance adjuster. I spend my days wading through the wreckage of other people's bad decisions. I see the crumpled metal, the shredded policies, and the terrifying medical bills. I know, statistically, what kills people and what saves them. Because of this job, when I went shopping for a new vehicle, I didn't look at horsepower. I looked at crash test ratings. I looked at the 5-star safety ratings, the crumple zones designed by engineers who actually understood physics, and the sheer, boring reliability. I ended up with a mid-size sedan. It was gray. It was quiet. It started every morning without a complaint and had enough airbags to inflate a small, bouncy castle. It was, in short, the perfect car for a man who understood actuarial tables better than he understood romance. Nicole, bless her heart, hated that car. "Steve," she'd say, leaning against the sensible, sturdy door panel, "it looks like something a librarian rents for a weekend trip to visit her mother. Where is the spirit?" Spirit. That was Nicole's favorite word. She was all about passion, ambition, and the appearance of success. She drove a small, older Mercedes, leased, of course, and she spent half her salary on things that looked fast, even if they weren't. "It has excellent maintenance records, Nicole," I'd counter, trying to keep the sigh out of my voice. "And the collision mitigation system is top-notch. If someone cuts me off on the 101, I know I'm walking away with just whiplash, not a broken clavicle." She'd just roll her eyes. "That's your problem, Steve. You always plan for the disaster. You choose safety over life." This wasn't just about the car. It was about everything. I packed a sensible lunch. She ate expensive sushi. I invested in index funds. She invested in crypto that promised 500% returns overnight. She saw my practicality as a character flaw. Proof, she said, that I lacked the necessary ambition to truly succeed. The tension escalated when she met Chad. Chad was a luxury car broker. Not just any broker. He specialized in the high-end, high-risk performance machines. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches that sounded like angry bees in a tin can. Chad drove a different machine every week, usually something that cost more than my entire retirement account, and they were always loud, obnoxiously loud. The first time I met him, he pulled up to Nicole's apartment in a cherry red Italian coupe. I noticed 3 things immediately. 1, the paint job was immaculate. 2, the tires were nearly slicks, indicating excessive wear or track use. And 3, the temporary dealer tag had expired 2 months prior. "Hey man," Chad said, giving me a dismissive wave. "Nice, sensible ride." I nodded, the adjuster in me already running the calculations. "Beautiful car, Chad. I hope you're running adequate coverage. The replacement cost on that asset is astronomical, and the liability exposure, given the horsepower, is substantial." Chad laughed, a loud, booming, fake laugh. "Insurance. Man, insurance is for people who drive boring cars. I drive with faith." I swear, I felt a cold dread settle in my stomach right then. Faith is not a substitute for $1 million umbrella policy when you're wrapped around a light pole. Nicole, however, was mesmerized. Chad was everything I wasn't. Reckless, flashy, and constantly talking about the next big deal. He embodied the spirit she craved. The breakup was predictable, but it still stung like hell. We were standing in my living room, and she was holding a designer handbag that Chad had bought her. "I'm leaving, Steve," she announced, her voice flat. "I need someone who takes risks. I need someone who understands that life is about the pursuit, not the prevention." I didn't fight her. I just looked at her, and then at the keys to my gray sedan sitting on the counter. "You choose safety over passion, Steve," she repeated, delivering the final blow. "And honestly, that makes you boring." She left with Chad, riding off in a roaring, uninsured piece of status symbol, while I stayed behind with my paid-off, dependable, 5-star safety rating. I was heartbroken, but a small, pragmatic part of me felt a grim certainty. I knew, eventually, the math would catch up to Chad. Life went on. I handled claims, a fender bender involving a distracted teen, a devastating fire that wiped out a small business, and countless minor incidents where someone should have bought gap insurance, but didn't. I drove my gray sedan through the gridlock of Phoenix, always leaving 3 car lengths, always checking my mirrors.
Then came the day the math finally clicked. It was a Tuesday afternoon, heading south on the I-10. Traffic was heavy, moving about 65 miles per hour. I was listening to a podcast about structured settlements when, about a quarter mile ahead, the world turned into a chaotic nightmare. A huge delivery truck blew a tire, jackknifed across 3 lanes, and initiated the most brutal chain reaction I had ever witnessed outside of a highway patrol training video. It was the sound that got me, a horrific, drawn-out symphony of crunching metal, shattering glass, and screaming brakes. I reacted instantly, stomping the brake pedal. My sedan's advanced anti-lock system growled, the seatbelt tensioners locked me hard against the seat, and the collision mitigation system took over, shaving off critical inches of stopping distance. I stopped just inches from the tangled mess ahead, but then the real impact came.
A massive pickup truck, driven by someone who clearly wasn't paying attention, slammed into me from behind. Bam! The force was incredible, but my car performed exactly as the engineers intended. The rear end crumpled beautifully, absorbing the kinetic energy. The doors remained intact. The side curtain airbags deployed with a deafening whoosh, smelling faintly of gunpowder. My head snapped forward and back, but the headrest caught me perfectly. For a few terrifying seconds, I was suspended in silence, dust and smoke swirling around me. Then I unbuckled, pushed open the door, which miraculously still opened, and stepped out onto the highway shoulder. I was shaken. My neck was stiff, but I was walking. I was fine. I looked back at my poor gray Ghost. It was totaled, a textbook example of a catastrophic rear-end collision. But the passenger compartment, my sanctuary, was perfectly preserved. That sensible sedan had just saved my life. I spent the next 2 hours dealing with paramedics and the state troopers. I was giving my statement when a trooper pointed towards a particularly gruesome tangle of wreckage about 50 yards ahead, right in the center of the original pileup. "That's going to be a tough one," the trooper muttered, shaking his head. "Looks like a high-performance Italian job. They had to cut the driver out. Critical condition." I squinted. Even mangled, I recognized the distinct curve of the fender. A cherry red car. My blood ran cold. I didn't need to ask. I knew. Later that evening, after getting checked out at the ER and arranging for a rental, a white sedan, naturally, I got the call. It was Nicole. Her voice was thin, strained, and completely devoid of its usual aggressive confidence. "I'm fine, Nicole," I said calmly. "My car is totaled, but I walked away. Crumple zones and airbags did their job."
She didn't respond to the technical details. She was focused on the other piece of news. "It's Chad," she whispered. "He's in the ICU. Multiple fractures, internal injuries. They don't know if he'll walk again." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, and I genuinely was. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. "He was driving that red one today," she continued, her voice cracking. "It was one of the dealership cars. He was showing it off to a potential buyer. He told me he decided not to insure it yet because he was only going to have it for 2 days." I leaned back against the wall of the rental office, closing my eyes. The grim certainty I had felt weeks ago was now playing out in agonizing detail. "Nicole," I said gently, "as an insurance adjuster, I need to tell you what happens next." She was silent, waiting. He was driving an uninsured vehicle, likely with excessive speed given the performance of those cars. He was involved in a massive multi-car accident. Even if he wasn't technically at fault for the truck blowing the tire, his lack of insurance means he has zero protection. The medical bills alone for those injuries will be astronomical. We're talking 7 figures easily. "But the dealership?" she asked desperately. "The dealership policy protects the dealership, not an employee driving for personal use or outside the terms of a specific agreement. And if he was showing it to a buyer, that complicates things. More importantly, everyone else he damaged, the truck driver, the people in the cars he hit after his initial impact, they are all going to sue him personally to recover their losses. They will strip him of every asset he owns." I paused, letting the reality sink in. Chad chose passion over protection, Nicole, and now he faces massive personal liability exposure. He is financially ruined, and he hasn't even left the hospital yet. The silence on the line stretched forever. Finally, she spoke, her voice thick with tears.
His parents were here, she choked out. They were talking to a lawyer. They said he might lose his house, everything. That car, that beautiful, fast car, it didn't protect him at all. The goal of a car isn't just to go fast, Nicole, I explained. The goal is to get you where you're going and to keep you intact when the universe decides to throw a truck tire through your windshield. My boring, sensible, safe sedan did exactly what it was designed to do. I told you that you lacked spirit, she whispered, the raw shame finally evident. I told you that you were boring because you planned for safety. I planned for reality, Nicole, I corrected her. You chased status and adrenaline. I chased stability and protection. And in a world where accidents happen, and they always do, stability is the only thing that truly matters. I didn't gloat. There was no victory in watching someone else's life shatter. But there was a profound sense of validation. We talked for a few more minutes, mostly about the practical nightmare she was now watching unfold. The mounting bills, the aggressive lawyers circling, the utter devastation of a life built on reckless optimism and uninsured assets. She ended the call with a simple, quiet thank you. It wasn't a thank you for saving her, but a thank you for showing her, finally, what true security looked like. I hung up the phone, looked at my new white rental sedan. It had great crash ratings, by the way, and smiled a little. See, people confuse ambition with recklessness. They confuse flash with substance. Nicole learned the hard way that when the rubber meets the road, literally, a solid frame, advanced safety tech, and a comprehensive insurance policy are worth infinitely more than a temporary burst of speed and the illusion of spirit. I might be boring, but I'm alive, I'm solvent, and I'm ready for the next Tuesday morning commute. And that, folks, is the most successful outcome you can ever ensure.